And we are right back where we started on Sin Chupung-Ryeong for the ace match of MBCgame Hero versus SKT Telecom 1. And this is going to be a TVT between Fantasy for SKT and C Shield for MBCgame Hero. So this should be a great game. As I say, the first set of this match was also played on this map. It was a ZVZ, and it wasn't outstanding. It was between two relatively mediocre players, the Zerg and Shark. But this should be a much better match because C and Fantasy are both very talented, smart, creative players, and I think we should see a very good game between them. Obviously, the match tied up at 2-2, going to an ace match. We've seen some pretty good play all around from everybody so far. These two players have not played. And I don't know whether... I think the Pro League still allows players to play a preliminary match in a set and then come back and play the ace match, but we've seen a lot of teams, I think, saving one player for the ace match and not playing them earlier, and I think that's a reaction to situations where some players have become burnt out from just playing too much, like Flash last season, for instance. Teams want to rest their best players a little bit and not overuse them. But SKT has already sent out their two Protoss aces in Bisu and Best, and now Fantasy is sort of their third best player after those two. Fantasy was doing really well a little bit ago, and sort of fell apart. Well, no, that's probably an exaggeration, but he hasn't been doing as well lately. Certainly hasn't lived up to the new boxer label that was given to him in the last season when he seemed to be on fire. But still a pretty strong player. C, on the other hand, is known for being a very, very strong Pro League player and not necessarily as strong in the individual leagues. Known for sort of choking when the pressure's on, but playing pretty well when he's comfortable and relaxed. Both players have winning records. C is somewhere around 60% career. Fantasy is somewhere around 53%. So C is a little bit of a favorite there. In terms of Pro League records, Fantasy is currently at 11-9 for the season, and C is at 11-7. I'm not sure if that takes account of this game or not, but in any event, so they're both a little bit above average. Neither of them are in the elite of Pro League, but they're both good, solid players, and they play pretty good TVT. So we'll see what they can do on this map. And we see, let's see, what are the colors? C, I think, is the purple Terran at the 2 o'clock position or so, and Fantasy is the green Terran, and we see C putting down a factory at a bit of an off location away from his base, so he may be trying to go for a little bit of early cheese. It's going to be scouted out immediately by Fantasy, so Fantasy will surmise that the factory is somewhere else, and not necessarily that much of a hit to see. He'll still be able to get some harassment off with those early vultures, I think, but and there's not too much of a commitment to put that factory out there because he can easily float it back whenever he wants. Now looking, Fantasy looking for cheese behind his base, isn't seeing the factory there. He'll probably keep looking with that SCV until he does find it. You can see the coaches looking on intently. A lot on the line for these two teams. I think both of them are on the bubble in terms of the playoff picture right now. I'm not sure about MBC Hero, but I know KTF is somewhere between 6th and 8th or something like that. And the top 6 teams make the playoffs, so this is a very important game for them. Machine Shop going down there, so it's actually going to be early tanks coming from C, from that outside factory, and early starport going down for Fantasy. So Fantasy, it looks like, is going to go for some quick wraiths, and his SCV, almost seeing that factory, is going to go up the ramp and see it there. Probably, he must have Did he not? Okay, he now sees it and is going back, but again, not much he can do about it, and it's not going to be a huge hit to him. It'll let whatever comes out of that factory. Oh, brilliant play by Fantasy. Boxing in that tank with a supply depot. Oh, but it fails. It wasn't actually a prison it was supposed to be. So the tank does get out, and we'll see what it's going to do. It could put some pressure on that front door, but a Wraith is going to be out in just a second, and the tank will have to fall back. Meanwhile, a couple of Vultures coming out for C to support this little push. And he may be able to do a certain amount of damage before... No, but there is a tank out now for Fantasy. So Fantasy is going to be able to hold his ramp pretty well. Those mines at the bottom will keep him from pushing out. C is moving up, but now that Wraith is out, and one Vulture goes down, C is going to have to fall back here. But Fantasy was forced to tip his hand with a Wraith. C, you can see, is getting down in armory frantically to get Goliaths out. No control tower yet, or if there is one, it hasn't been shown yet. So cloaking won't be up when that Wraith gets there. But C is just letting his tank get picked off. C ought to fall back with that tank to avoid losing that early tank is going to be a big hit. And a Vulture for Fantasy has snuck into the back of C's base. Excellent play by Fantasy so far. And a couple of Marines warding off that Wraith. Now you can see Fantasy's pushing out a little bit from his base. He might try to claim his natural. And he is getting that control tower down. Yeah, he is going to try to claim his natural. He's building a command center inside his main off the one factory and one starport. Second Wraith out. And he'll go for cloaking, I imagine, with that control tower. Meanwhile, building a bunker. And that is going to tip C off to the expansion that's coming. The bunker does go down, though. And now Goliath's out, so C is going to be able to ward off those Wraiths eventually. Hopefully he gets some sort of mobile detection out before cloaking comes out for Fantasy. And another building there, I don't think that's the second starport, that might just be a supply depot. At any rate, barracks being pushed back, so not going to be able to get the spot on those tanks, but if those Wraiths get too close, they're going to take some Goliath fire, so they've got to be careful. Meanwhile, I don't know if C has started his command center. There's something at his natural expansion you can see on the minimap, but I'm not sure. Doesn't look like it's command center. Meanwhile, Wraith's going up to try to get some harassment in, and there's nothing in the backfield right now, but the Wraiths are falling back. I'm not sure why that is. And now the command center is going down for C, so C is going to be close to economic parity. The expansion's going to get down a little bit later. Oh, cloaking now for the Wraiths, and the Wraiths are going to be able to pick off that SCV and delay the expansion a little bit. So, C looking a little bit chagrined. But he does have comsat out now, so he'll be able to chase the Wraiths away without taking too much more damage. He still has that siege line set up above Fantasy's natural, but he's not going to be able to push in with those tanks there. And that containment really is only useful if he's going to do something with it, like a certain map control. Oh, that SCV does get taken down, so another delay for C, and you can see C looking very frustrated and already a little bit sweaty. C, known affectionately by some commentators as Sweaty Hands C, for his tendency to perspire a lot when he is under pressure in these games. So we'll see if this turns into a long game. He may need to mop his hands a few times to keep a good grip on his mouse. Academy down for Fantasy, so Fantasy will have comsat out for scouting purposes. And now he's pushing out along the right-hand side. I'm not sure what this is intended to do. This map has a little sort of caldera or something in the middle and big ridge lines along it. So in TVT, players can sort of push up and down the sides and push along these ridges. It looks like Fantasy is going to try to claim that bottom right base, and that's what the tanks are set up for, but I don't see a SCV headed out there quite yet. So there's going to be a little bit of a delay. Incidentally, I was wrong in saying that the first set of this match was played on this same map. I was confusing it with another, but they're two of the ones that have Korean names, and I confuse the pairings between the original names and the translation. But at any rate, couple Vultures of Fantasies heading up the right side. They're gonna, I guess, just try to get the scout in and maybe do some harassment at C's natural. Tank there to intercept them, but they are going to be able to pick off a couple of SCVs. They get 1 and 2, and then they're forced to retreat. But good harassment there. Little things like that make a big difference in this sort of match. We've seen a lot of mirror matchups this set. 4 of the 5 games have been mirrors, and I'm not sure if that just has to do with